Let me ask you something. Have you ever hit a moment where life looks fine from the outside, but inside you feel like a ghost version of yourself? You're accomplishing things. You're checking all of those boxes, but you're not lit up. You're not excited. You've lost something and you don't even know when it happened. That's not just burnout. That's a soul level misalignment. And if you've ever whispered to yourself, I miss who I used to be, this video is for you. I'm going to walk you through the subtle signs you've lost your spark, what being lit up actually feels like, why we disconnect from ourselves, and of course, how to get that fire back without blowing up your life. Before we get started, I want you to take advantage of my free core values finder because it's a personal reset button and your first breadcrumb back to the woman you were before you forgot what lit you up. The link is in the description. Let's start with the signs that something is off. Not in your schedule, but in your soul. You might feel emotionally flat even in those happy moments, irritable over the small things. You may feel like you're constantly on but never present, or like rest doesn't restore you anymore. I've experienced all of these things. And that is what sparked the change in my life. According to the American Psychological Association, chronic emotional suppression, especially in women who juggle multiple roles, leads to something called emotional blunting. That's where your brain protects you from overwhelm by numbing you all. This isn't just mental, it's neurological. And when that spark fades, it can be hard to remember what it even felt like to be lit up in the first place. So let's go there next. Now, let's reconnect with that feeling that we're chasing, that lit up feeling. Being lit up isn't about hype or productivity, it's a state of embodied truth. You feel connected, you feel whole, and you're turned on by your life, not just surviving it. When you're lit up, you feel alive, not just productive. You move with clarity, not confusion. You glow even on those hard days. And you feel emotionally awake, not just mentally alert. One night, I was in the kitchen cooking with no distractions, no phone, no pressure, just music playing. A song came on that used to light me up, and without thinking, I danced. I caught my reflection. While I was dancing, I caught my reflection and saw something that I hadn't seen in years. Me, Keisha, not mom, not coach, not girlfriend, just Keisha. And I smiled. The hardest I had smiled in a long time. That moment reminded me that I never left. I was just buried under all the obligations, all of the titles, all of the roles. But it also sparked the question of how did I get buried in the first place? This leads us to the roles that we've been taught to perform. We've been taught to be everything to everyone else but ourselves. The strong one, the responsible one, the one who never breaks. If you're a firstborn daughter like myself, you know your roles expand beyond that. And in doing so, we forget who we are underneath all of those roles. The mom who forgot her own dreams, the boss who's always had to lead, the friend who listens but rarely shares. We get applause for holding it down, even as we fall apart. Sociologists call this role when your identity becomes fused with the roles you play. Your core self becomes harder to access. And the longer you stay there, the less you can hear your own inner voice. And even when you realize this, it's not always easy to come back to yourself. because your nervous system may not feel safe enough to. Let's break that down next. You cannot feel lit up in a body that is in survival mode. When your nervous system is dysregulated, you overreact or shut down completely emotionally. Your cortisol and adrenaline override your emotional clarity, and you lose access to curiosity, play, and pleasure. According to the polyvagal theory, the vagus nerve determines whether you feel safe enough to relax and connect, whether you default to shutdown. So, healing isn't just about your mindset alone, it's about giving your body a sense of safety. And here's how to start. We can start with 4-7-8 breathing. You breathe in for a count of 4. You hold it for a count of 7. And you breathe out for a count of 8. We can also ground with our bare feet. I know you've heard of grounding before. Go outside barefoot in your grass and ground. You will feel a calm overcome your body that you've never experienced before. And it allows you to reconnect with not just yourself, but the earth. And it helps to calm your nervous system. And lastly, you can name what you're feeling without trying to fix it. Just name it. Become aware. Learn to verbalize what you're feeling without always trying to be in fix it mode. When I first started regulating my nervous system, I realized stillness made me anxious because I wasn't used to silence that wasn't tied to exhaustion. But the more I sat with myself without trying to change or perform, the more I remembered what peace actually felt like. If you're ready to regulate your nervous system and rebuild from a calm, grounded place, book a breakthrough session with me. We'll find your fire from inside out. The link is in the description. Now, let's talk about how to reignite that spark without overhauling your entire life. You don't need to throw away your life to find yourself. You need small, aligned shifts that honor the you that you've been ignoring. I want you to try these things. Create a spark list. This can be songs, food, people, routines, or rituals that you know for a fact energize you. Now, do one thing a week that's just for you. Say no to anything that drains you, even if it's polite, and choose align discomfort over familiar numbness. One of my small shifts was reclaiming my mornings. I started waking up before everyone else, not to be productive, but to be present. I started sitting in silence with tea or sometimes coffee. And some days I cried, some days I wrote, but every day I felt a little more like me. That was my first sacred rebellion. These small steps and moments, they add up. So now let's put it all together with the steps that you can take today to get back to that version of you that felt alive, free, and on fire. Here's how you can begin to get back to the version of you today. Here's a journal prompt that I want you to use. When did I last feel alive? And what was I doing? Write without editing yourself. Write without thought. What comes to mind goes on the page. No editing, no correction, no holding back. Allow yourself to truthfully speak through the pen. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what would I do today if I trusted myself fully? This is not a question where you are holding yourself back from the truth. Your subconscious mind is going to give you the answer. Listen. And lastly, I want you to make a value based decision, not for approval, not for logic, for truth. This is where the core value finder comes in, because if you've lost track of who you are, 9 times out of 10, you've lost track of your values. So, in order to make a value based decision, you need to find your values. Remember, the link is in the description for the core values finder. Research shows that values based decision making activates the brain reward circuitry, leading to higher long-term fulfillment and lower regret. Alignment is not a luxury. It is neuroscience. When are you going to start listening? One of the first aligned decisions that I made was I stopped apologizing for resting. I didn't explain. I didn't ask permission. I simply rested. And that one decision made me feel whole. A lot of the times we feel that if we are resting, we are being unproductive. That is not true. And that is what being in survival mode has taught you. If you're tired of trying to figure this out alone and you're ready to reconnect with your fire, book a breakthrough session with me. We're going to walk through your blind spots and realign with the truth of who you are. Let's imagine this. You wake up 30 days from now and you don't dread your day. You're moving slower, but more intentional. You're smiling without forcing it, and you feel like you. Not a shell of you, not a version of you, just you. That version of you isn't gone. She's just waiting for you to choose her again. And if you're looking for more ways to reconnect with yourself and your purpose, watch the next video, When Purpose Feels Dry. This is what's really going on, because that spark doesn't always vanish. Sometimes it just needs a new way to burn. I'll see you guys over there.